Hey guys, so welcome to today's Tuesday tip, I suppose it could be classed as. And today we are going to be using the old Vaseline. Now, back in 2015, I uploaded a video of me using this on an old colouring sheet that I had designed, and it went a bit cray-cray. And this year I hit 90,000 views on there, but it was only a little 3-minute time lapse. So this time round, I wanted to give you a bit more of an in-depth informational tutorial as such, just to give you enough information to give you an informed decision as to whether or not this is a technique that you may like to use in the future. Now, please bear in mind that this technique is not archival. The oils in the Vaseline, the petroleum jelly, will affect your paper, and I'm going to show you how not to go too heavy with it. It won't affect your pencils, but it will affect the light fastness. So this is not archival. This is definitely for those who maybe have issues with their wrist, maybe medical conditions, which means they can't apply much pressure. Maybe you haven't got any blending solution and things like that at home, which make it quite hard for you to be able to blend the way you want to. So the Vaseline really is to just show you, give you a bit of a hack, I suppose, on how you can do this without having to go and spend any more money, because most of us have got Vaseline in the cupboard. So we're just going to work on this fox here, which is from my colouring book, which is out on Amazon. And I shall pop a link in that for you should you want to go and have a look. There's a couple of ways that we can apply the Vaseline. So we can go in either directly with a cotton bud in the UK, Q-tip in the States. You don't want a lot on there. See, I've actually got too much. I wouldn't use that much. I would just rub it on the side and just rub some off. So you can then, let's go for his head. So you can put it straight on the paper. As I say, you can use a Q-tip if you want. And then you can go straight over with your pencil. So I'm using polychromos at the moment, but I have done this with WH Smith pencils, Marco Raffines, and first time I'm doing them with polychromos, and it seems to be doing a grand job. So the other way to do it is to dip the lead directly in. Again, wipe some of that excess off because you don't want too much. And then go straight over the top. So essentially what it's doing is it's spreading the wax around. So rather than going straight onto dry paper and just using the tooth, you've got a bit of a combination here. So it means that blending is much easier than if you were to just have dry. Now you will be limited with how much you can layer on top of your image. So you need to be careful again how many times you do this, because you don't want to get to the point where you can't actually do any layering because you've put too much on. So again, just a tiny little bit on the tip. Now, the other way to do it is going directly in with your pencil, which I'll show you in a second. And this works with pencil stubbies. I haven't got any clean ones I can show you with, I don't think. So you can then get your cotton bud and you can go in and blend it. So you can see it's taken up some of the pigment onto the cotton pad bud Q-tip, but you can again go over It just means that you have to put far less pressure on the pencil, which means, as I say, if you do have medical conditions, then it's, you know, this has still got Vaseline on it. You probably can't see it. But yeah, as I say, it just helps if you do have conditions where you can't apply much pressure onto your paper through your pencil. So it's just a fun way of doing it. And you know, even the kids can get involved with this sort of thing because they can just have fun with it. Kids can get bored with colouring quite easily sometimes, so it's a nice way of getting them involved. So let's go and try it on a different colour, shall we? Let's try the mushroom. Okay, so we've done a little bit of the fox's head, so that was really simple and easy. So let's have a blue based mushroom. So again, you can either put a little bit on the tip, you don't want too much. Now, depending on the thickness of your paper, the colouring book here is this is my self-published one. This isn't the one that comes from Amazon, and I used I think it was 220 GSM, so it's a very good thickness. You may find that on some of the thinner papers that you have to use less oil because you'll find that it will seep through. So just be careful, be mindful, test it on your paper first. But you can see how easy that just blends out. So if you want to blend two colours in together, let's do that now. So we'll just get our dark down. I'm not being particularly neat here, as you can see. Let's get our medium down. And let's just get some light down. So again, you can see I'm not being particularly neat today. I'm just going to tiny bit more on the side. As I said, these work really well with blending stubbies. So if you've got some of those, you can use those too. See, I'd rather keep going back to my Vaseline and adding more than ending up having too much on there and then not being able to recover from it. But you can see that it's blending away the pencil lines. And we're getting a nice steady ombre effect there. And again, you can still go over the top, and because you've got that coating of Vaseline, it also helps give you a nice smooth effect when you go over with your pencil. So let's just very quickly, for the sake of today, so you can see something finished, we'll just do the bottom of this mushroom, maybe do the top if we've got time, just to show you. Just be mindful if you do it with the kiddies, because I can imagine that there'll be a lot of stabbing into the Vaseline that will be going on, and there will be a lot of smearing happening. Okay, as I say, I am being a bit rushed here and I'm not getting many layers down, but yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick demo of how easy this technique can be. Again, great for colouring books, great for people that have dexterity issues. Also great if you're limited on colours, because you can put your colours on top of each other and blend to make more. There we go, nice smooth transition. Nice ombre. I don't have my original sheet that I coloured in from before, so I couldn't tell you archivally how long it has lasted. I made a mess there. I'm sure there's many others that have done this technique, but again, I don't know whether they've tested quite how long it does last. But as I say, I thought, as it's managed to get so many views, that I thought maybe it's worth just doing a very, very quick standard time tutorial just to show you how easy it is and the sort of the method really. But most importantly, you know, I mentioned on the previous video that this isn't archival. Please don't rely on this to do, you know, photorealistic portraits that you're going to be selling on. Definitely if you're making prints, if you're scanning them in, if you intend to sell them as limited edition prints, or you're going on mugs, t-shirts, things like that, then yeah, absolutely fine, because you're scanning it in and you can keep hold then of the original, and then you haven't got to worry about somebody coming back and complaining because your picture's fading away much quicker than it should be. Also, again, I don't know how light fast this method is if you're exposing your picture to too much sunlight, so that's worth checking out. But again, with colouring books, you know, some people do like to frame their pictures that they've coloured in. Other people like to have their collection of colouring books just sitting there on their bookshelf ready for you to open up and have a look. So yeah, it's just a nice easy method for you all. Now at the moment I'm just putting all the shades in I want in, and I'm going to blend it all together with the Vaseline afterwards, just to save a bit of time. Again, you can see I am really not being very, very neat. It's just really to demonstrate the ease of which you can do it. Oh, a bit more on there. Now stumps give you a bit more control. As you can see, I've gone over the line a couple of times there. Whereas paper stumps, if you haven't heard of paper stumps before and you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, paper stumps are these. So they're paper stumps that can be used for blending. So again, you just put a little bit on the end there. Don't need a lot. A little bit of excess off if you find that there's too much. And you can go in with your stubby and blend it all out. And again, the stubby gives you a nice bit of control. You can get into nice tight corners, so if you've got a really detailed colouring book or you're working on a detailed project, you know that you're going to have a nice amount of control over where that goes. Unlike me, who's made a mess with the earbuds. Mrs. Fox there, quite happy asleep on her mushroom. I made this book when I first started drawing again. I got into Zentangling and doodling and things like that. I'd always been a doodler. I didn't think I could draw anything else, to be honest. And I got a lot of requests to start selling my drawings in a colouring book. Of course, it was all the rage back then. So this is how the colouring book came about. And then I was very, very lucky to be signed with an American publisher, and I released a steampunk colouring book with them. And that was one of my favourites actually. I love steampunk. Anything quirky and cool like that. I absolutely adore it. So you can see that really, really nice soft blend that you've got there with the Vaseline. And yeah, it's just a fun thing to do. It's just nice to try something different and experiment. So if I show you, let's just go in here. This is a nice tight sort of size. If you haven't got any paper stumps, you can always get recycled paper. Actually works best, but you can get, don't use newspaper because the ink will come off, but just some old paper that you can just roll up really, really, really tightly, and they work really well. Or even a corner of a bit of kitchen roll. Okay, now don't go smushing over with your fingers. You need to give the Vaseline time to not disperse. I know the word I want to use, but I can't think of it, so no doubt it will end up in the editing stage as a bit of text that scrolls along my screen. Now I know it's oil and people are going, it's not going to evaporate, but eventually it sort of dries into the paper. So just give it a bit of time to dry and do what it needs to do to settle. Otherwise you'll end up smearing your colour around even more, and you don't really want to do that. So you can build up shade with the same colour pencil. It doesn't have to be lots of different colours. As you'll see in the 3-minute video, if you have seen it already, you'll see that actually I generally only use one colour and blend out to give me the shading, rather than having to use loads of different ones. So there you have it. Have fun with it. Remember, it's not archival. If you're looking at doing these sort of things for sending out as commissions, please bear that in mind. We don't want any comebacks really. But again, it's fun for those with medical issues. I've said it so many times through the video now, you're probably getting fed up with me hearing it. But I just wanted to show you, they're all the tools you need to be able to do something like this. And yeah, have fun, give it a go, and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell button if you want to keep notified of when my next video is uploaded. And I shall see you on the next one.